But these noises that aren't directed to a fucking piece of shit, a fucking Danny or a friend or anyone, because I'm not directly aware and speaking and conversating with any impressions. And my name's Samuel Velez, and there's all these. There's another impression repeating what I'm saying, as if it's saying it to someone, and then another impression is probably talking back, as if it's customly talking to me based on what I'm doing or whatever. But another noise inserts shit and fucks with, just makes shit come out of my mouth like I'm carrying on a conversation with shit, and then hurling attacks, like physical attacks, based on a fucking prompt that may come out of my mouth through a virtual thing or like, but as if I'm saying something or thinking something, and just like feeling effects of stuff. I the antagonizers, fucking like, instead of calling me someone else's they call me someone else's fucking. I hear someone else's name. They could be saying my real name on one spectrum, and I could be hearing another name, and all these fucking. One impression says, "Oh, you gotta learn how to use your mouth." Like if something should hear me, but I gotta say something first before something can hear me. But I don't know. They're acting like me. They're acting like they're maneuvering shit, doing shit through me, making me feel like something thinks it's talking to me. And I've been crying for 4 years, and no fucks given. Nothing. It like bypasses, like if nothing ever happened. And once in a while, I think another impression gets reacted to, and that impression that gets reacted to is treating me like a bitch and fucking with my head all the time. Like before any action or before any thought, it fucking describes what it's gonna do before I do it, as if it's me. It makes me look like I'm like no, like I'm crying about being misidentified. I shouldn't give a fuck because I ain't got no rapport with shit like that. But that's how I feel I sound also. Like I'm always defending, like leave me the fuck alone. And then, oh, is this really this person, that person? Like making me fucking like think of these other motherfuckers instead of me. Like wonder, like if something's gonna leave me alone, it has to know who I am first, right? And is this? I mean, 4 fucking years. But everything else, they're just snatching what I'm thinking or whatever and cupcaking with something. And when I think of their fucking names, their image pops up in my head, and they're the other impression that probably like snatches and mutes everything, all my ow, leave me alone shit. Some other impression is probably repeating it and probably carrying on some dialogue, and every once in a while a reaction back to whatever is repeating and verbalizing my thoughts, trying to keep carrying on some fucking constant dialogue with something or whatever. And they're bringing up names of my ex-girlfriends, this impression of Danny in it. And if these impressions know that I don't like that name, they must probably bring it up more and more or something, because they'll literally say Danny Z. And I know a guy named Danny Zuniga who's like a bully and has mistreated me, extorted money from me, spread rumors about me, and doesn't give a fuck. And that dynamic with that name, I don't know, out of the blue 4 years ago, it's like it's like he's like, it's trying to create this impression that he's attached to me, that me and him are like together, or like we made some fucking agreement to, like, I don't know, like an agreement for what for an asshole to wear my logic and essence and singing and or whatever, like it wants to take credit for that and then put his assholeness and treat me like I'm an asshole. I never made an agreement. I like, I don't know. I'm like clueless to all this shit. And the names of people that I know, I don't understand. I'm it pisses me off that I had to defend myself from a something addressing me out of my name or calling me by my name, like, and probably in front of someone and looking at me and saying, "Hey, this Sammy, like, that's my name, Samuel Velez." But then I'll hear a Danny, or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. And like I'll hear that Danny name or whatever, and then his head pops up, his image pops up in my head, and once in a while another noise says, "Oh yeah, that's me. That's me. I'm the one thinking that." Hmm. And that's a trip because assuming another impression in one spectrum says my name, and I hear uh, the name Danny the image of a different person pops up in my head, and right in succession, sometimes I will catch something say, "Oh yeah, that's me. I'm thinking of it," or some shit. "Oh, I'm thinking of it," dumb shit, and like it's trying to, um, I don't know, like it's like rerouting. If there is anything like filtering through me, or like it is interacting or something with me, it's not. I'm like, there's like a blank, but something continues to prompt shit and like make something think I'm talking to it. And every time I react, every fucking time, this is Samuel Velez not saying anything to Danny. I just heard a whisper. "No, what else do you want to say to Dan?" And I don't know if in a virtual world, while I'm making this video, if anything I'm saying creates a little cartoon. There's a little cartoon world where there's an image of either me or some other fucking fag cartoon, um, literally talking to some other fucking thing. But I'm right here making a fucking video. But it just sounds like, I don't know if it's like a head trip, like to make me feel like they're tying in what the fuck I'm saying to someone, and that tells me that um, whatever it is, whatever it is that thinks I'm talking to it, or wants me to talk to it, or wants to make it look like I'm in cahoots and involved in possibly like crimes or shenanigans or stuff blamed on me that I don't know about. Um, that's why I'm making this fucking video. And if something has to describe um, what I'm doing or some dumb shit, as if they're the ones doing it, like just certain actions, that's all they give a fuck about. You know, like if I'm uh, like if I got cotton mouth and I'm about to swallow, uh, some, I mean, if uh, I mean, it's like a fucked up little insert, like right before I swallow. "Oh, can you swallow for me?" or some shit. Like, "Yeah, if you love me, if you've been all up in this shit, and if you did something like I don't know what the fuck they'd be saying. "Oh, swallow him," or some shit, right when I'm about to naturally do something, or when I'm about to naturally meditate, or I'm sick and tired of whatever, and I'm just naturally gonna like close my eyes to fucking meditate or something. Something like, or anything. I'm just driving down the street or something. I look at a fucking street or anything, and something like, "Oh, hey, like some crazy shit." And I don't. It's fucked up, man. Because if something really cared about me or cares about me, and there's all this, um, something else wants to be me, and blocks me out. Because if if there's a noise saying, like right now while I'm making this video, saying, "What else do you want to say to this person, that person, and these people?" I ain't saying shit. I'm just minding my own business. So something else is saying shit to these impressions, and these are people that I haven't talked to in a long time, um, like personally, or like these are people that I may have thought about. One of them, I only was around one of these impressions. I was in a rehab with when I was a teenager. I'm 47. I was like 14, 13 or 14, 15 years old. a name of that person pops up, and I mean, whoever it is that's attacking me and fucking with my head, pretending to be me, I don't know if it's cupcaked with people that I know and said that it was me, because throughout life, I think the only highlights in my life or people that I think about a lot are that I've had situations with or involved in certain events throughout life, or like ex-girlfriends, my baby's mama, my daughter, and then just a few friends I hung around with in the past that I think about, like a Danny guy that was like a bully and an asshole to me, uh, a guy named Frank, you know, and it was not in a bad way. These are just people you think about, like a guy, Danny, I used to get high with, but now I mean, he's a dickhead, and he says extorted money from you, or chased you with a knife, pulled a gun out on you, tried to fucking punch you, or something. Yeah, naturally throughout life, in any little situation or something, that fucking image pops in your head naturally throughout life, or whenever, sporadically. You know, another guy, Frank, that I worked for and did floors with, and then as youngsters, we did other stuff, and uh, and this other Richard, Dick, I'm not sure about that one, and then ex-girlfriends, ex-girlfriends' names, and I'm always thinking like situations that I've experienced with these people, and for one of these impressions to fucking fuck with my head, and oh, and they would just all, and I would just hear like one thing. Well, if you know this person, and it's not even directed towards me. It's probably directed towards an imposter or someone or whatever, and um, there's probably an imposter regurgitating stuff that I was thinking about those people, and it probably may have mentioned this to those people, like pretending to be me, and would mention certain situations where that other person would probably bite and be like, "Oh, then it must be you. Oh, I mean, just me and this person know that," or something. Like, I just wonder if there's a mischievous fuckface that's done that, and um, is I, I don't know. It's just it's weird. It keeps getting me to react, like, to talk, like, say, what do you want to say to this person? And then I don't hear anything anyway. But I get pissed off and I go back to what I'm doing, and I forget that there's most likely other impressions reacting back to that, and probably putting me in a bad light. And all they really do, like, I guess for the other impression to think that I'm thinking about them and talking to them, I just think of their fucking face, so, or something. But something else prompts it, and something else probably acts like it's talking to them or asking something that I can't hear. But the one indicator that um, makes me trip out is they were mentioning an ex-girlfriend of mine, and one of these fucking pieces of fucking dog shit impressions that are like heartlessly, like, mute anything, anything from me yelling or screaming or whatever, vision, or I don't know, that block that shit, um, will taunt me, and even stuff that I don't want to answer. My mind will involuntarily think of whatever it is in the privacy of my own brain. But I guess that just possibly gets like snatched or whatever. So one time, one noise, I think said something. Oh, if you're the real blah blah blah, how do you know this person? Like, how did you guys meet if you really know, whoever name they mentioned, right? And I got pissed off, man. I was like, man, what the fuck? It's like, uh, if there is an impression that probably like doubts or is suspicious of something else trying to get their attention, making it sound like me, or if it's me, uh, I I imagined, or I thought up a weird scenario of how I met that person, and it was like a little off, like just different, a few different details changed around, and on purpose. I just thought of it just for the fuck of it, and then another noise was like threatening me afterwards. Like a second later, it started like threatening me, man, motherfucker, you better fucking tell me how you or whatever. Like if it mentioned what I was thinking to the other person, to this other impression, and the other impression didn't believe him. Like, no, that's not true. No, I don't know. It's weird. It's fucking weird. And this other impression, man, if it had did some shenanigans, it's trying really hard. It just keeps like tying everything I'm thinking or saying throughout the day to anyone. Um, I don't know if it's just a game or something to piss me off to make me think of this fucking face. And like to make me think of his fucking face. I think it's on purpose. I think they're trying to make this other guy, Danny or whatever, they're saying my name or something, and then I probably hear a different name. And when I react or I get mad or I'm like, that's not, I mean, not that I'm talking to these fucking noises or whatever. I just like, in my mind, I'm like, that's a misidentification or whatever. And they, so I'm assuming the other impression, if it's saying my name and observing me, but I hear a different name and I say, nah, hey, get the fuck, what the fuck? I'm like, fuck. And then they're like, oh, I guess that's not him or some shit. And they'll say, I guess that's not him. And they're saying my real name, and they could trick a scenario to where I'm denying who I am, but I'm really like picking up a different name addressed to me. And if so, their little game that I sense is on their end. They're saying my name, and I get mad, like, what the fuck? And then they're like, oh well, hey, I guess that isn't the Sam Velez that or some dumb shit, right? And so that the other so the image that I think of when I hear the wrong name, I think of that image, and then there, I guess another impression is like, oh yeah, well that's me, that's right. So they probably don't even hear me yelling like, hey, or mad about being misidentified or misaddressed. Another fucking noise just says that's them, that they're Sammy Velez. Because they'll say Sammy Velez on their end. I hear a different name. That image pops up in my head, and then they use that image from my brain as if they're my consciousness. And they're saying that image is Samuel Velez, which is weird. And well, I'm tired of being treated like someone else. Not that I have a rapport with these noises. Not that there was like some relationship or anything. None. I just uh, this reaction is like if anyone personally, like a human being, walked up to me physically and called me out of my name, um, and started treating me like shit, as if I'm some guy named Dan or someone that's an asshole, and it's just fucked up. And when I make these videos, or there's certain times where uh, I don't know, like certain uh, things that I do throughout the day, and I mean, they treat me like a bitch, ignore my ass, torture me, and I get pissed off, and they make me feel like there's nothing there, that nothing gives a fuck, but they make it seem like on another scenario, whatever I'm thinking or saying or that they're repeating, that they're regurgitate is a big deal, and is being collaborated on, and is like interesting. I like my own thoughts, how I think and everything, and I think it's interesting too. I sit back and observe my own self and be like, wow, it's bad enough something wants to like suck that out as if they're expressing it, and then treating me like some piece of shit. And it's fucked up hearing little kudos here and there based on what I'm thinking, but they're going to this another impression that's fucking pretending to be me. And based on any little stuff on like deep shit that I'm thinking or wondering about shit in my own and just my own little bubble. And they, it's just fucked up to be amazed and trip out on how I'm thinking or learning shit or perceiving stuff, and for something here and there once in a while to react and make me feel like I'm something reacting to my thoughts, or it's like, oh man, or some shit. And I try to ignore it. I try to keep, because I think of the 4 years of bullshit, and so I'm assuming or anticipating another scenario where they slowly like something reacts here and there to shit I'm doing, and I forget that there's like either another impression or two impressions reacting in two different ways based on what I'm saying. As if one, I'm some snitch crying to another impression about, oh, they're telling me that they're doing this, and some other impression, if it's acting like me, it's actually saying like it's actually proclaiming that it's going to do this, it's going to do that itself, as if it's me, to prove that it's this or that. I don't know. Like if there's some uh, like some not a ability or things that happen or whatever. I mean, it's just here. It could be. I mean, just based on the description or just stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if it's designed to make me angry and then covet whatever's happening, like to make me say no. That's I should be in that or something. I should be or like if I should be like if they want me to start to express how I should be collaborating and chatting with something, and because they're my thoughts, that I should have a right to. I don't even come at the situations like this. I just um, but when I do get angry, that's what their argument. That's what another reaction that out of nowhere, like to piss me off. Oh, he's just mad because of this, or he's don't listen to him, or some shit. And I'm thinking, what? Don't listen to him. I don't think anything fucking that matters probably or whatever. I don't know if something's like blocked or muted, and but um, there's just like a conflict here. If there's an impression trying to, um, there's an impression like if I look at my hand, I have a tattoo of my name on my hand, and whenever this discrepancy or some shit like fucks with my head, I look at my tattoo and I'm like, well, dang, hey, you Masturbation Monitor Association, um, if, if you're paying such close, intimate attention to my stroke, my hand stroke, why don't y'all take a gander at the tattoo of my name on my hand or something or whatever? And they just like, or um, something I'm about to like close my eyes to go to sleep or something, and then something acts like it's me trying to prove to something that it's that trying to prove to something else that it's me, and that I'm intruding in here, that I'm intruding. So that means this scenario or whatever's taking place or however it's being perceived is like probably like a different spectrum or in another position somewhere, because um it's it's just it's a fucking trip. And if something needs to know what I'm doing at every moment and I can't hear, and in the beginning of this torture, they were just distracting me in bits and pieces here and there, just long enough for me to react and get mad and then yell and open my mouth, and all this edited shit, everything I like yell out or say, it's probably heard over somewhere else, edited, and sounds like garbage, sounds like probably vulgar or derogatory shit. And and then yeah, if something's like every once in a while, oh no, I'm doing it, like to convince something that it's maneuvering and existing in this consciousness, this temple, um, that's a trip. That means, um, I mean, I don't know. And then there's this other situation. There's this other moment where, like right now, I'm making this video. I was just about to start talking, and a noise is, "Oh, no, what else do you want to say to the name of a Danny? Like, what else do I want? I ain't trying to say anything to someone named that name. Um, so if that means there's something going on in a different spectrum that probably I don't know if they're even in tune with, maybe they're in tune with my emotions or something, but probably don't look through my vision, or it's almost as if either they look through my vision or they don't. It's, I mean, because if something's gonna say, what else do you want to say to something while I'm making this video and I'm talking and I'm expressing it right now, something would think to itself, hey, why is um this guy making a video, um the guy that gets watched while he grabs his balls making a video, um they would probably say, well, this guy's making a video, he's talking into his, looking at his phone making a video. Oh, how can what I'm expressing right now be directed towards someone named, the image or impression of someone that I don't like? I would assume that something else that's wondering if I'm really who I am or something else is who it is would know just by what I'm expressing in this video. Or if something says, "Oh, that's me. Oh, I'm about to close my eyes. Oh, I'm about to swallow. I'm about to fart. I'm about to scratch my balls or something," then that means something can see what the fuck I'm doing. That means something can fucking see what the fuck I'm doing. And so there's a lot of other shit that is probably just nonsense, like prompts. Probably just prompts for me to think of a person's name and argue with that impression. And while I'm arguing with that impression, there's like another layer of probably conversation going on where it's based off my imagination or my thoughts. And maybe something just prompting me all the time and I just always hear that name. And in another layered conversation, there's probably another impression, maybe that asshole saying that he's me, or maybe he's, like one of these crackheads that Kevin talks about that get probably, who knows if they gained access to some sort of neural monitoring or hacked my laptop or my phone. I mean, that bully did reformat my computer and fixed it before he started punking me again and being an asshole. And I don't know. Maybe there's another layer of a conversation somewhere, and based off my imagination and my consciousness, it probably is trying to convince or trick something that it's my awareness. And um, the sucky part is, if that's how that scenario suggests that it is, um, then maybe a lot of people that are being affected by stuff like this, if it's gone on for years and they're just angry and they're always just like pissed off. Um, I wonder if something like that is happening, if digitally or whatever with technology, they in another layer of a if they can, if I mean if they're looking through your consciousness and broadcasting somehow. um, I just wonder if in that realm, I mean, Kevin spoke about some type of settings that people have that they use on that virtual shit, whatever the fuck. And I just keep wondering. I just like wonder if, I mean, it's a possibility that physically here in this plane, on this reality, um, what I'm saying or other stuff about me, my vision, my thoughts that are articulated into fucking words. Um, and if these this fucking organ, like any other fucking physical body on this earth that are human and they fucking think, when you're not aware of it, it still keeps thinking. It's still, like, when you're not even aware, you're just constantly like reading stuff or looking at stuff, comparing stuff, and just correlating things, you know. And if that's being verbalized and like described all the time, I wonder who or what the fuck would be like um, stimulated by that or reacting to it all the time or something. I'm kind of jealous because I'm. It just seems like these noises, they affect my surroundings to where I have no fucking friends, or I don't even want to fucking have friends. I'd rather be to myself because of how the energy and just the way these. I mean, just these last few years that I've been aware of this fucking these little noises, just from how I've just caught little stuff here and there about them hating on me and people just walking away from me or people not taking me serious or whatever. It's like they just teeter totter, like they just mess with me. Um, they'll, I mean, I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe like there'll be times where they want to like play this little letdown thing. You know, they'll once in a while I'll be chatting with people and everything seems cool. Like, oh wow, we're actually vibing. You know, there's no metaphorical invisible kick me sign on my forehead, or there isn't no sign of me thinking that they heard something and like a rumor or an opinion or something to think I'm a weirdo. And then sure enough, uh, things will start to get I'll start to loosen up, and then boom, they'll just like out of nowhere they'll just there's some dumb shit or some dumb shit will come out of my mouth. Sometimes I'll catch the last tail end of some possible turrets or something, and yeah. So I just wonder if that's the scenario or some shit they do to make you just like be to yourself and and not have anything to do. And then when I'm just sitting here quiet and bored, thinking about shit I should be doing or stuff that I'd like to do, um, I don't, I just get this like feeling that So in those moments where nothing's going on, I'm just bored and just chilling here. I'm accused of listening to something that's going on. Like right now, they can be accusing me, or when I'm quiet and just staring and thinking, I'm staring or whatever, I'm thinking. And if my thoughts are being articulated and something else is hearing my thoughts being articulated on um, one layer of shit, and I'm sitting there quiet, and then something says, he's sitting there listening. Whoa, hold up here. I'm sitting here thinking, and then something making me feel like I'm sitting here listening to something, like getting accused of something. That's fucked up. Because while I'm thinking or whatever, even talking, I can, at any moment, once in a while, I'll just, um, I don't know how, but I'll just like hear a different conversation or what I'm saying or thinking, like it's expressing it to something. Who knows? Um, it's a fucking trip. So, damn, 34 minutes. I didn't know I could talk so long on certain subjects. um, Yeah, so hopefully this was something to think about or adds to someone else's perspective and what they're experiencing or something. Because this shit's got to stop. I mean, I, it's just like too. It's just too like um, what do you call it? Like it's just like it's like if there was a commercial on TV that says take your medication because we're trying to fuck you up so you can fill the hospitals up with so you can fill the beds and get more symptoms and make money and buy pills and stimulate this part of the economy. Or if there's a commercial saying, um, I mean, I might as well make a commercial or something like on TV, like just broadcast it, like, yeah, this world, it's all fucked up. It's fucked up. It's cruel, and people are dying, getting sick because other people want to make money. What are you gonna do about it? Or, um, or yeah, people are suffering, and there's missing children everywhere. There's people getting raped and violated, and having their boundaries crossed in such a fucked up way. And there's people like me and countless others being treated like shit, like heartlessly treated like shit, having our spiritual something raped and irritated and knocked off, like kind of unbalanced or something, to where you can't like vibe on another level within yourself. And for something to just pay such close attention and intimate attention to only you grabbing your balls or other stuff while treating you like you don't exist, or fucking with your head, or acting like they're disciplining you for grabbing your balls, or disciplining you for smoking a cigarette around your dog because supposedly you made a promise, supposedly that I like promised something that I wouldn't do that, which I assume there's a noise that wants to like acts like it's speaking for me, saying, "Oh, I promise I won't do that," like making promises or some dumb shit. And then when I conduct myself in those ways, which I can, I'm a grown ass man, and just coping and just how however I'm morphed in life. And these things, these impressions, are want to downgrade and ridicule and like just be assholes. Make me feel like I'm a bad person. Like making me feel like I get chest pains, heart attacks if I smoke around my dog or if I grab my balls. It's just some narcissistic, like a real asshole. There's some noise in the distance, like while I'm grabbing my ball. I couldn't believe it. I just ignored it, but I couldn't believe what the fuck some delusions of grandeur would say. And I don't know what kind of agreements or shit is going on somewhere in some other plane. Talking about one fucking impressions, and it was probably that Danny Z one saying, "Oh, I already jacked off already. He can't jack off anymore. He's not supposed to jack off, and he's about to jack off or something. You're not supposed to jack off, don't you know? I already jacked off already, so you can't jack off." And then it'll go blank again. It'll just be quiet, and then I'm thinking to myself, "Motherfucker!" And then another noise. "Oh, he said I can't jack off," or something, like I'm complaining to something. Like I don't know what's being tied into what, but um, I'm just kind of sad in a way. I'm just like the condition of this world. The news talking about planes crashing and kids being abducted and shit like that. Like the Queen of England taking a bunch of orphans, like kids from another fucking village, like 500 kids, and then they disappeared. They disappeared unexpectedly. Um, um, the wars, people coming up missing, and kids being raped or molested or viciously just I don't know. And That's sad to reflect on that. And there must be, sorry missing kids, sorry rape victims, sorry crime victims, and sorry, but everything that would have protected you and looked over you or helped to find you, they're all tied up. They're all tied up trying to wear down um, capable, intelligent people with intricate, intriguing ways of thinking, creative, um, musical, dancing, just that have a bunch of zeal in them and nowhere to fucking for it to fucking flourish. Sorry, all the bad thing that's going on that something could have had an eye on or kept under, sustained or whatever. I'm sorry, they're all busy intimately getting acquainted with the thought processes of um, cool people that probably wouldn't hurt you or kidnap you or kill you. They're too busy. Sorry, they're busy watching me jack off, and they're just they're I don't know. Sorry, sorry, humanity. They're they just probably sick motherfuckers that they're busy. They're busy wanting to experience someone's pain and or whatever. Who knows? Maybe out of all that pain and crying, maybe a good idea springs forth and it's probably like profitable for them or something. Maybe it's who knows. I but sorry, humanity. I don't know what to say. Uh, may this shit change. May these circumstances shift and change. Um, or mesh in somehow with um, the way the system is. I don't know. I guess the system don't need fixing, or the system doesn't need good people in positions of, I mean, not power, but in positions of like leadership or positions where someone can make a difference and or like be trusted to be good at what their gifts or attributes would flourish in. It's weird. It's like they want to take your consciousness and they want to act like they're you or something. So that's pretty sad. Like the Cal OSHA or the FDA, all these agencies, these positions where where that are in charge of your health, these positions and up there that are in charge of your safety, these positions up there that are in charge of investigating stuff or getting down to the bottom of things or troubleshooting situations in life or life threatening stuff. Um, all those positions may it not be pieces of shit, narcissistic, delusion of grandeur, fucking dildos, um, pretending or just wearing the attributes of someone worthy of that position, yet having another agenda, I guess, for money or power, or maybe to avoid having pain, to avoid getting pressed on. I don't want to accept shit. I ain't accepting anything like this. And these impressions seem to create this scenario where I must have, or I guess they created this shit where they must have made me sound like I made agreements or did some shit, and it ain't true. So knowing that I wouldn't accept some shit like this, there must have been something. The scenario, it just seems as if they had another version of me making agreements and contracts and verbal shit. And if I'm not aware of that, and I'm just going on with my life, and my surroundings and stuff suffered without me knowing, and something else is like regulating on me without me knowing or thinking that it's in touch with talking to me or like has some sort of fucking shit going on with me. It's fucked up. There's like a blank there. And at every moment that I snap, at every fucking moment I fucking snap. Like right now, I just heard a noise say, "What do I want to say to Sammy Velez?" When this is Sammy Velez making a video on YouTube, and yeah, so that means anything that matters, anything that fucking cares, probably isn't even watching. So fuck any fucking noise out there once in a while that sounds um like it feels bad, or that sounds like, oh man, or something. Fuck that noise. Fuck this bullshit. This is proof that something don't give a fuck. And proof that whatever don't give a fuck is probably observing you and blocks anything that you're saying of substance from influencing or getting validated long enough for you to convey that you just want him to be left alone, or stick a middle finger up and